Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for coming into today's small discussion. First, let me introduce myself. My name is Aswara Rabbani Bridya Putra, and here I will be your speaker about art. Our today's title is Art isn't optional, but it is essential. Please note that if you have any questions, please hold it until the end of the session because we will have our Q&A session. So, moving on today's topic. Today we will be talking about expressing emotions into drawing essentials, how can we start, and also how can we make a profit out of drawing. Moving on to the introduction. So back then, drawings are used for documenting. Why drawing? Because we didn't have the technologies to capture moments. So we hire experts to reassemble the moments into a piece of paper or maybe canvas. It actually depends on the uh, media of drawing. So artists back then are used to capture atmospheres, people, and also landscape. However, there are some artists that have their own flow, and it is called expressionist. Artist expresses their feeling into their drawing. So, what is expressing emotions? As expressing emotions, we put our expressions, emotions, and also our spirit into a drawing or maybe a painting. Here, there are two kind of expression uh, expressing emotions in a drawing. The first is abstract painting and also expressionist as we called before. So what are abstract paintings? Well, as you can see, abstract paintings are weird paintings that cost a fortune. Why are these weird paintings cost a fortune? It is because some people enjoys how the painter express their feeling and they actually share the same point of view. So as an appreciation to the artist, they would love to pay a fortune to get their pieces. Then there's also expressionism. It is when expressed feeling onto an art piece. As you can see, as the example here is Van Gogh's masterpiece from all the time. It is called Starry Night. It might look a little weird, but it is how Van Gogh see the world or maybe how he feels towards what he sees. So it is most likely about how artists pour their expressions into the art. Moving on into drawing essentials. So painting and drawing were most likely about realizing the fantasies in our mind. Well, it could be into things all around us, such as maybe rocks, maybe clay, or maybe papers, depending on how we realize our fantasies. So, this fantasy could be a lot of things. It could be a caricature, graffiti, and also modern arts. As you can see, you in today's arts, there are a lot of people not just drawing and also painting, but they also do something that is considered art. And then the next essential is show people how we see things around us. As you remember, maybe in the old times, we love to draw the picture below. It is a part of us that wanting to show other people how we see the environment around us. So it is actually natural for us to draw, and we could expert it with some practicing. So how do we start drawing? In today's era, there are two types of drawings, digital and also traditional. So how do we draw traditional way? Simply, uh, you will need a drawing paper for at least 200 grams, 2B pencil, and also an eraser. Just to keep in mind that the heavier the drawing paper, the more likely it is to turn out way better. As pencils, it is actually a part of your preferences, so you could choose a higher bullet pencil or a harder pencil, depends on how you like your drawing. And then for a digital drawing, so you just need a device option with drawing application. These devices could be your phone, maybe your laptop, or maybe your tablet. Well, most likely a lot of artists use their tablet since it has a wide area of drawing, and it is pretty reliable. So, moving on to steps of drawing. So, moving on to the steps of drawing. After your tools and after your tools and materials are ready, first decide what to draw. Let's say you want to draw a scenery. First, look for references. You could go to internet or maybe do it the fancy way. You can go for an outing looking for a really nice scenery and just sit there, start to draw. And then the next step is to decide the main object. It is called the focal point of our drawing. As a part of scenery, maybe you want to draw mountains. Alright, let's take that mountain as the focal point. You need to focus, that focal point will be the main object of your drawing. So you might want to put details and outstanding colors on that focal point. And then the next part is just sketching. Well, sketching here, you need some practice so that you could get the proportion and perspective uh, correct. Well, I couldn't say it is correct, but uh, uh, a nice proportion and also a nice perspective. You can look for tutorials in YouTube or internet about how the proportion and perspective works, but you will eventually get better as you draw more and more. After you're done sketching, you will need to go for detailing. As I said before, your focal point will be the most detailed object in your drawing. This detailing includes shading and lighting, texturing, and also coloring. You can guys search these techniques in the YouTube uh, for further explanations. Moving on into the final point, which is making profit out of drawing. So how can we make profit out of drawing? First option is to be a professional artist. Well, as I said, professional artist here is you don't need to make a gallery such as maybe Van Gogh or maybe other old artists. No, in today's world, you know that you can actually be a professional artist by social media. You can charge them with maybe like a really high amount of money. Well, it depends on you where how much do you want to charge them. So to be a professional artist, you need to learn crucial aspects. As I said before, proportions, fundamental, and perspective would be the most crucial aspect of being a professional artist. And then finally, you uh, how will we sell this art? So selling this art, we could sell this art from social media, and also we maybe could sell them in a merchandise form. So in some events, there are events that we could actually participate where all where a lot of artists from all around the world gather to sell their art. So why don't you just take a chance right there? There you can sell your arts by making a poster or maybe keychains and a lot of stuff. There you could make a lot of profit. So that brings us to the last of our discussion. Thank you for your time and attention. And for any of you who likes to, and for any of you who would like to ask about things that we've discussed before, you can feel free to ask now. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.